What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the show, man. Recap with Mo, where we're getting ready to get into another episode breakdown of Tyler Perry's Divorced Sisters. But before we get into this thing, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss shit and it that's going down, alright? So the episode we're getting ready to get into is for season 1, episode number 2, titled Old Flames, New Scars. Now the synopsis states, Rasheda and Pastor Jefferson navigate the balance of family and the demands of their church. Bridgette grapples with Vaughn's persistent immaturity, and Geneva encounters an old flame. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this thing. Alright, y'all, so we kicked this episode off back at the church house where we left off with Rasheda and Isabella. Now, in the previous episode, Isabella had just conveyed to, the First Lady that she was getting it in with Pastor Jeff. Now, it's been going on for about 3 months, and it actually started on her birthday, which was, I think it was on January the 7th, right? Now, as Isabella is slowly delivering what happened or whatnot between she and Pastor Jeff or whatnot, we can immediately see with Rasheda that she isn't buying what she's selling, right? So she tells Isabella to come with her. Now, initially, you could tell that she's a little hesitant. She doesn't know what's going on and whatnot. But, this whole time, First Lady has been smiling. She's been nodding. So she reassures Isabella that everything is going to be all right. Just follow me. Trust me. It's going to all come out in the end. She was absolutely right. So anyhow, getting back to the breakdown, man. So they head outside to the hallway, which they run into Sister Bridgette, who's closing down shop to head home for the evening so she can get ready for tonight's festivities and whatnot. So Isabella takes this time an opportunity to ask if the pastor was still in. And then Rasheda turns around looking at Isabella like, girl, didn't I just tell you that he was gone for the day? Or in other words, I got you. You ain't going nowhere. We're going to get to the bottom of this situation, whether you like it or not, right? So we're getting ready to head in this office, and to make sure, I'm going to take your hand and I'm going to guide you, all right? So as they get into the office, First Lady is asking her all of these questions, and Isabella is attempting to recall what happened, and then she says, well, he had me right here in the front of the desk. And Rasheda goes to the desk and she was like, you mean right here? He had you, what'd he do? And she goes on to tell her what he did and all of this good stuff. Whoa. Now, Rasheda goes over to the calendar, sits down at the desk, right? Now, she's asking, well, what days did these things actually happen on? And she tells her, well, it was a day that there was the choir here. And she was like, oh, that was a Tuesday or a Thursday? Okay, well, that's interesting. I don't see that on his calendar. And she was like, well, it was one of those days. Oh, you mean the day that he was eating dinner at home with his family that night? That's when you said he was doing it? Yeah, it was. Well, you know what? I forget. So finally, Rasheda has to let her know that she's on to what she's attempting to do, thinking that the people at the church house are a little slow. Now, old girl, Isabella, decides that she's just going to go all in by threatening Rasheda, telling her that she's going to go to the authorities and she'll just go that route just to get all of this resolved or whatnot. Now Rasheda is like, cool, you can go that route, but let me show you something before you leave. So she turns this tablet around that's on the desk, and she shows her the camera images on this tablet. Not one time do you see this sister entering or exiting any offices in that time frame, right? So she was like, cool, go to the authorities, do what you need to do, but make sure when you come here, you better have some receipts, because what we got right here is proof that your tale is lying, right? And not in those not in those words, right? You already know what she wanted to say, but she's in the Lord's house. So anyhow, going on from there, we now head over to see Geneva, who's finally back at work after playing investigator and scheming and scamming the janitor out of his drawers to figure out what's going on and whatnot. But she's finally back at her office, looking into space. And all I gotta say is, baby girl got her mama Geneva going down. She going down bad, man. So anyhow, getting back to the story, as she's sitting there, in walks Zena, who's her assistant, who informs her that someone by the name Vaughn Houston has been trying to get in contact with her. I mean, he's been calling, he's left messages, but not only that, the brother is actually sitting in the lobby waiting to see Geneva. Now, I couldn't help it. I just couldn't help it but to notice that Geneva got nervous as soon as she said this brother's name. And of course, I'm like, what is that about? What is that about, Geneva? And I guess we're going to find out, right? So she tells Zena to go ahead and send them back or whatnot. Now, she's leaving the office. Geneva immediately calls Rasheda to see if she could come through because she has some things to discuss. And I'm like, what is that about? So when Zena finally returns back to the office, she has a gentleman with her who Geneva obviously has had feelings for, or currently still has feelings for. I'm just saying it's quite obvious, right? You can see it all over her face, over her body. She's gushing right now. Don't get mad at me. These are the facts, right? She did a good job with this in the acting portion of this, right? So he goes on to tell her that he's back, that he's divorced, but most importantly, that he's been dying to get back to a special person. And I'm like, who in the heck is that? What is that, Geneva? Because Geneva's like, maybe if I stand still, he can't see me. Get that out of your mind, sis. He looking dead at you, right? So he goes on to say that it's been a little over 6 years, so they got me counting a little bit. Your daughter is 5, then let me carry the 1, do this. Okay, so I guess everything is adding up, at least for right now, right? I guess we'll talk about the rest of it a little bit later. So the thing that caught me off is when he asked for her to come over and give him a hug. Now, she did not just give this man a normal, friendly hug. When she hugged him, it looked like she had died and gone to heaven, y'all. Like, she embraced him, put her head on his chest. He's smelling her hair, man. Listen. And then he even gives her a compliment talking about how good her body felt. You know, it's been a long time, and I'm sitting here like, man, what were y'all doing? And how long ago was this? Man, Tyler, you messy, bro. You real messy right now. Oh, man, daggone. Let me move on, man. So anyhow, from there we head over to see Tiffany, who's going to check up on Naomi to see if she's actually coming to the banquet later on that night. But as she's walking towards the house, she receives a phone call from Rasheda. Now, Rasheda is trying to figure out what's going on with Geneva. Now, in the previous episode, remember when Onika dropped the bomb on her mom's Geneva? Tiffany was there in the midst. So now Geneva has forced Tiffany into secrecy, not to share with no daggone body. But we already know when Tiffany got to the nail salon and loose lip Bridgette was sitting right beside her, loose lip Bridgette was able to get every daggone thing out of her that she needed to. And it was so easy, right? But she said, I'm not telling nobody else. And I can't even tell you. So you need to wait till Geneva gets to your crib, and then you can ask her for yourself, right? Because right now, presently, we got bigger fish to fry, talking about Naomi. So as Tiffany is coming to the door, Naomi opens the door and tells Tiffany that she heard every daggone thing that was said through the doorbell and invites her in. So you already know Tiffany is going to have to give up the beans because she already knows that she's holding something in secrecy. Right? So while Tiffany is there, she notices the pictures on the counter of Naomi and her ex-husband with a little bit of added touch-ups and whatnot, right? Specifically to old boy's face. Now, Naomi conveys to her that her therapist told her that it was good for her to get her anger out by doing this, right? Now, Tiffany tells her that she don't have no daggone therapist, and Naomi is like, yes, I do. And then she points to the other side of the counter talking about the dark, the brown, and the light. Talking about those are my therapists, and I'm sitting over here like, for somebody that doesn't drink, I couldn't tell you the difference. So maybe somebody down in the comments can convey that to me, like what's the difference between all of them. I'm assuming the dark is the hardest. I'm just assuming the blacker the berry. I'm just saying. But anyhow, getting back to the story, man. So Naomi is like, enough of that. I want to know what's going on with Geneva. Now, Tiffany goes on to tell her that everything is good with her, but Naomi ain't buying it either. She was like, you ain't gonna come off in my house and continue to lie to my face. What did he do talking about William? Tiffany tells her, look, we're not even going to get into this because what you need to focus on right here and right now is on yourself. Move on from your ex. You made $37 million in your divorce. That's enough money to move on. And then she even brings in her own situation where she states at least you're not paying alimony. So Tiffany is having to pay alimony to her ex-husband, but old girl made $37 million in hers and she's not satisfied. So now she's suing her ex for a parking space at a country club. Why? Because she doesn't want his new woman, the 25-year-old woman, white woman, to park in her personal parking space that she once parked in when they were both married. That's why. So you suing this man over that, causing yourself more headache over a parking space? Really? Look, I've never been divorced before, so I don't really know how I would respond, but I'm definitely not going back and forth over a daggone parking space. I'm just not. Now, the only reason in my head I can ration this out is it's not about the parking space. It's not about the white woman. It's the fact that you still want your ex, Franklin. You don't want to let him go. Tiffany points that up a little bit too. If you're not trying to move on, what are you trying to hold on to? Are you still trying to hold on to your ex, Franklin? Or do you really want him gone? Do you want all the money? What is it? What's really going on here? Because right now, you're angry for no daggone reason. But let me just go ahead and add this, right? Because there was some good things that came out of this conversation. It wasn't all just negative. Tiffany actually admits that she's afraid to love again due to what happened between she and John. And Naomi is living her best life, not willing to love, but to get her freak on at every occasion. And they even discuss their thoughts on Bridget's situation with old boy Vaughn, who we'll talk about a little bit later, who's 30 years old, and they figure that, Bridget is paying for his time. So we'll see how all of that comes out, right? So as they're talking, we see people coming through the door being instructed by Naomi to take everything upstairs, right? And Tiffany, who's standing there, is like, hold on, wait a minute, are you coming tonight? And Naomi is like, yeah. Why wouldn't I come tonight? We're going to have a great time tonight. I got my whole team here. I'm going to get glammed up or whatnot. We're going to be good, right? And I was like, oh, Lord, here we go. So that's one confirmation. Now we got to wait for the other confirmation, right? Hopefully that doesn't come through. So anyhow, from there, we head over to see Rasheda, who's returning home to some disrespectful children. Man, listen, there's no way in the world that I could have sat there having my parents say something to me, and I just sat there and did not acknowledge them. Man, I'm sitting over there with a phone in my hand. Man, please, stop that. That phone would have been on the other side of the room. Man, so listen. So anyhow, Geneva and Rasheda go upstairs to Rasheda's bedroom and they sit down and they have a conversation. So, Rasheda's like, so do you actually believe that William is, cheating on you or whatnot? And Geneva tells her that she believed that he was. And as Rasheda is attempting to give her some type of hope, Geneva's like, now, there is a difference between what Tiffany and Naomi went through, and goes on to say that she believed that they both were on edge due to them watching how all of that unfolded. So now Geneva's like, both? So are you saying that you and Jeff are having problems? And of course she says no, because she doesn't want to put her business out there. But she does convey to Geneva that, with all of the stuff going on at the church that has to be done, that she gets placed on the sidelines a lot.
I know my parents love me.
It's a 90s thing. It's a 90s thing. It's a 90s thing. It's a 90s thing. Alright, so continuing where we left off, Rasheda was asking Geneva if she was trying to catch William doing something or was she trying to get into something, right? Now Geneva is looking at Rasheda like, girl, for real? Like, you just gonna pull my card like that? And Geneva knows that Rasheda knows that she's up to something, right? So now that forces Geneva to come on out with the information. So, of course, she's like, you're talking about Vaughn, right? Now, Rasheda doesn't say a word back to her. She just simply stares back at Geneva. Now, Geneva's like, girl, I already know where you're going with this. This was one time, 6 years ago. That's over and done with. Now, Rasheda knows that she's had strong feelings for Vaughn before, and maybe they've never gone away. So with that being said, Rasheda wants Geneva to just slow down, be patient, be steadfast, pray about it. Don't be too quick to make a rash decision, and the issue that's going on right now is that old boy came to visit her, which she conveys to Rasheda. Now Rasheda didn't know that. So now the plot thickens, Rasheda, and now all of a sudden this woman is sitting over here trying to decide if she wants to stick it out with her husband William, who's a good guy, but she thinks he's stepping out of the marriage or whatnot. But on this other side, it's looking real good, and it ain't been like that in a long time. And I'm like, that's dangerous. That's dangerous now. And Rasheda knows that, because she goes on to tell Geneva, don't allow the enemy to come in and mess up what you got good over here. Because the last time old boy came off in here, it went bad real quick. And she was like, girl, I know. Yeah, you're right. But I'm gonna have to just ask you this one time. You're gonna have to pray for me. I was like, daggone, like, we're gonna have to have a second video on this just to talk about some of these topics, man. But yeah, moving on, right? So going on from there, we head over to Bridget's crib where we see her steaming her dress, getting ready for the banquet later on that night. Now she's doing all of that. She receives a phone call from a man by the name of Calvin, who's calling to inform her that her boyfriend Vaughn quit his job today. Now, of course, he's like, what? Like, what happened? What did he do? Old boy on the phone is like, nothing happened. He ain't do nothing. He just quit and left him with all the work to do. So now he's going to be late coming to the banquet later on that night. And she's like, for real? I apologize. He was like, ain't no need to apologize. The issue is Bridget is sticking her neck out for a man that doesn't value what she's doing for him. There's no way in the world that if a woman is going out here hooking you up with people that's giving you the opportunity to make money and you quit the job, you don't respect her, you don't respect those individuals, and it's downright disrespectful, man. And now you got your woman sitting over here apologizing for you and your actions. You did that. And now here you come after she gets off the phone. Little man Vaughn coming in there. Yes, I'm gonna call him Little Man Vaughn until this man changes his direction. That's his title. Little Man Vaughn coming in here drinking, talking about, was that him? Who in the heck is him? Who in the heck is him? This man is Calvin, an individual that gave you an opportunity and you spat on it. And he's sitting over here making all of these excuses why he could not do the job. He had me working hard. It was too hard. He had me doing all the work. And Bridget is sitting over here like, man, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you get paid to do, is work. He was like, oh man, that's too hard, man. I'm a creator. And when he said that, I was like, okay, he's a creator. But it takes work to be a creator. So I wonder how that's going to work out as well. Like, Bridget, don't waste your time, sis. I'm with old boy Calvin on the phone. Don't waste your time. And then when I found out that you had given this guy another opportunity with 4 jobs and he quit all of them, no, let him go. It's time to go, bro. Because now he's sitting over here on the bed talking about, hey, I'm getting ready to get in the shower. You want to get in with me? He trying to get some loving, and this man ain't went to work. Nah, man, she should have said, nah, we good, man. Like, if you ain't working, it ain't working. I remember the minister had made a quote. I can't remember the quote verbatim, but he had stated it was something around the grounds of, if a man that doesn't work shouldn't receive or expect any love from a woman. Not in that way. Like, she gonna love you unconditionally. But no, you ain't put in no sweat labor, so why you want her to put in some sweat labor? That's all I'm saying. And then, as he's watching her, steam her dress and whatnot, he was like, what you doing? Where you getting ready to go? She conveys to him that she's going to the banquet. And he was like, oh man, I forgot about that. Well, aren't you glad that I quit my job? She was like, what? He was like, well, I'm gonna go with you. She was like, go where? This woman doesn't want to go with you to the banquet. She doesn't even want to be seen with you at the banquet. You know why? Because you unemployed. She don't want to be seen with you, man. She doesn't respect you in that way. And you know who's to blame for that? It's you. And then this man sitting over here talking about, I'm gonna go ahead and get dressed. I'm gonna go take a shower and I'm gonna get dressed. She was like, no, you can't come. It's black tie. He was like, what's black tie? Meaning you gotta have a tuxedo. He was like, oh, I'm good. I got one of those. Guess where he got it from? One of his previous jobs. I was like, here we go. Oh my gosh. So now we see little boy Vaughn going over here to the clothes hamper, dirty clothes hamper, I should add, pulling out this balled up wad of tuxedo, bringing it to his woman Bridgette, asking her to get out the wrinkles. By the way, if you can finish all of this quick enough, go ahead and join me in the shower. She already done told you ain't getting none of that. At least not right now. So let it go. Let it go, bro. So anyhow, from there, we now head over to Naomi's crib where we see her and her glamour team, putting the finishing touches on her or whatnot, working with her hair and makeup and all of that stuff, getting her ready for the banquet tonight, right? The issue is she's not focused on any of this, right? She's more focused on what her ex-husband is doing on social media. Now, one of the members of the glamour team grabs her phone or whatnot, and she was like, give me my phone back. She was like, no, I'm not giving you no phone back until you can answer my questions. How do you like your hair? How do you like what we doing to you? She was like, no, I can't even focus on that right now because I'm focused on this Negro on this phone, putting this woman in front of me out there for the world to see. Now they're talking about, look, don't worry about him. You looking good. You got your money. You good. You got this mansion. You good. But she doesn't feel that way. She feels like he's intentionally throwing this 25-year-old YT woman up in front of her, taking her to all the places that they went to before and making new memories and talking about, it's always better the second time around. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, I did feel I did feel some way about that comment. But, maybe he was just saying, some of the sights he didn't get to see the first time because he was so madly in love with you. So he missed some of them. So now he's finally able to go back and really enjoy these things the second time around. That's what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? And it's nothing against you. Anyhow, man, so they eventually give her phone back or whatnot, but it's crazy, man. Like, why even look at his social media? If you feel like he's intentionally throwing some stuff out there to bait you into being angry and all of that stuff, don't look at it. Don't look at it. You're forcing yourself to look at it, and then you're becoming angry of the situation, not really knowing if it's true or not, but you're feeling some type of way. We do know that's true. So anyhow, from there, we now head over to William and Geneva's crib where we see William returning home and his daughter and their nanny is in there on the floor at a table or whatnot. So he comes in saying daddy's home and, she runs over, he picks her up and all of that good stuff. Whoa. Now, everything looks good. It's like normal. The only issue is Geneva is not there. Geneva is actually in another room. He goes to talk to her. She's in there drinking wine and all of this stuff. I'm like, this don't look good, Playboy. She's sitting in here with all these windows and sitting over here sipping wine on chill. It's not looking good right now, Playboy. So of course he can already tell that the vibe is off. He can tell because he's like, babe, you good? How was your day? Of course she doesn't really want to get into it. She doesn't want to talk. She tells him that she's good. There's nothing to worry your mind about. But he's like, did I do something? She's like, no, you didn't do nothing, because she doesn't have any proof. She can't say that you did because she doesn't know if you did or if you didn't. But at this point in time, all she knows is that somebody said that you did. And it came from a little 5-year-old tattletale downstairs. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? But the big sign in all of this as the conversation was ending is when he went in to land that kiss, it was avoided. So he definitely knows that he's either messed up somewhere or something isn't right, or she found out something, he just doesn't know. So he's sitting over here talking about he's spoken to Franklin and all of this good stuff. Yeah, that sounds good, but that ain't what she really concerned about at this moment. She is, but she ain't, right? So anyhow, going on from there, you know what, this episode just kept going downhill. It just kept going downhill from the whole situation with Naomi. Listen, so now we head over to see the pastor and the first lady. Now, they sitting over here in this room. No, they're not even in a room. I take that back. One person is in a room talking on the phone. Who is that? Pastor Jeff. And Pastor Jeff is sitting in there whispering on the phone. He sees Rasheda coming by. He hurries up, closes the door. Now, of course, I don't know what he was thinking when he did what he was doing, but when he closed that door, of course, he should have known that she was going to follow and come on in, because now he's trying to finish his conversation. She's coming in. He's getting off the phone. Of course, he want to know who you talking to. He was like, what you mean? And I'm sitting over here like, bro, Tyler, what we doing, man? Listen, ain't nowhere in the world this man is hushed on the phone, closing the door. His woman follows behind him, asking him who was he talking to, and he's sitting over here talking about, what do you mean? What you mean? You know exactly what she meant when she said what she said when she said it. She was asking, who were you talking to? Who were you whispering to? Oh, it's a private conversation. I don't have to let you know who it is. Oh, it's private. Well, when did it become so private with your wife? Because I'm supposed to know what's going on. And I'm sitting over here like, Rasheda, maybe he's just trying to do a surprise for you. Maybe that's what he's trying to do. He don't want you to know everything that's going on. That's what it is. I don't think the pastor is doing anything bad. You know what I'm saying? He comes home every day. He does what he's supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? I think you just need to calm down. Take some of that medication that you gave to Geneva. I think everything gonna pan out just fine. But you know who don't agree with that? The kids, the little unruly kids that was so disrespectful to their mama when she first came in. Now they want to run downstairs talking about why y'all arguing. And y'all sitting over here. Well, you know what? Let me give them their props, because they did say one thing right. Y'all sitting over here acting like y'all the perfect couple when y'all not. And y'all put on for the church when y'all not. And then you preach on it in the pulpit and y'all not. And then they go back to their disrespectful ways by telling them, I can't wait to get up out of the house. Pastor Jeff is like, I can't wait. I'm like, man, what in the world is this? This is so dysfunctional. Anyhow, it is what it is, right? So anyhow, going on from there, since we're talking about some dysfunction, right? So we head back over to Geneva and William's grill, right? So Geneva is upstairs getting ready. Somebody's calling her downstairs. Who is that somebody? Her husband, William. He's invited someone as his +1 to go to the banquet tonight. Guess who it is? Vaughn is in the building tonight. So William is super excited. He's telling Geneva, look, you would never believe who I found. And I invited them as my +1. She was like, who? Javon who? Vaughn. 6 years ago, Javon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that Javon. Yeah, Javon. You know Javon. He went away, but he back. He ain't married no more either. He back though. And we're gonna hook him up. We're gonna find him a good woman. Little does he know he already found it. Anyhow, man. So, look, what happens is, this is where it thickens. Because he's super excited. He wants to, introduce his daughter Anika to Uncle Javon. Y'all heard it right. Uncle Javon is now about to be introduced to Anika. So, the nanny brings her down before she's getting ready to go to bed. He brings her over. He introduces her to him. And he's like, oh, such a beautiful name, as he's looking at Geneva. Why is that? So as William is getting ready to take little Anika upstairs, he gives, Geneva and Uncle Javon the opportunity to, reacquaint themselves. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't seen each other in such a long time. Just go ahead and sit down, get to know each other again, right? So, of course, as he's leaving, Javon takes this opportunity to find out a little more information about little Anika. But first, let me go ahead and compliment her because she's such a beautiful little girl. She also has her daddy's eyes. I was like, well, I haven't looked at William's eyes much, but maybe she does. And then he goes on to ask, is she his? Tyler is messy, man. Tyler is messy. Listen, I saw it coming a mile away. And I was trying to do the math in my head. Now, she's already said in this episode, that was 6 years ago, it was one time. Well, Geneva, it takes one time. Now, what I'm hoping is not the case. But knowing Tyler, it's the case. It wouldn't be drama without it. Listen, this is crazy, man. It is definitely crazy. And look, I'm not mad about it. Honestly, this episode was pretty decent. I would give this, if I were to rank this episode, I would give it probably a strong 8.5. For real. So with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss shit snick that's going down. As always, thank you guys so very much for supporting my channel, supporting my work. Until next time I see y'all. Peace.